It's a story you have to see or hear to believe. A hatchet wielding hitchhiker. That's right, you heard that right. A hatchet wielding hitchhiker saves the life of a woman on the side of the road in Fresno, California. His heroic actions go viral and he becomes an overnight internet sensation. But his newfound fame is cut short when he's accused of murdering an elderly man in cold blood. This week on Two Crime Newsies, we dive into the bizarre tale of a homeless surfer turned internet phenom turned wanted fugitive. That was a mouthful to say. Hey everyone, I'm Jen. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, I'm Tina.
Whew, that was seriously a mouthful to say.
Say hatchet wielding hitchhiker a lot.
Hatchet wielder.
Hatchet wielding hatchet wielding. I can't.
Before we get into the story, we just want to say that there are some gruesome, I think, topics for this or discussions about this.
Yes.
Well, the show is rated mature audience.
Okay,
so.
there you go.
So if you are a kid or a teenager, please go find something else to listen to.
Sorry, Charlie.
The show that we're talking about this week is called The Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker. It is a Netflix original film, and it was released in 2023 on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen this because I did watch it when it first came out, but I had no one to talk to about it back then. So
now
here we are.
I watched this the first time when I was on a flight to Japan. The lady sitting next to me kept like staring over at my iPad screen.
Oh, I'm so nervous about watching things when I'm on the plane. I don't want anyone to judge what I'm watching.
I watched that flight map more than anything. I don't know why, but there's something about seeing that move like just a centimeter that I love.
Yeah, so you don't have to say, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Yep. Yep. I feel bad for those flight attendants back in the day who had to like constantly try to like look out the window and explain to people where they were.
Yeah.
Ugh.
What a job.
This story starts on February 1st, 2013 in Fresno, California. I've been to Fresno dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Fresno is a city of about 500,000 people in the heart of the California Central Valley. It's known for its agriculture and it's being the gateway to Sequoia National Park. If you listen to the Golden State Killer episode, Visalia is about 45 minutes south of Fresno. So it's all in the California Central Valley. The show starts off with somebody named Jessup Reisbach. That's a fun last name.
I like that.
Reisbach. He's a sports anchor and reporter at the time in Fresno. And apparently he was saying this was his first day of covering real news. And it's quite a story to be covering on your first day of like actual news, non-sports news.
Agreed.
He heard on the scanner there had been a bad car accident and somebody had been pinned between a car and a utility vehicle. And so he grabbed his photog, which is the photographer, and out the door they went to the scene.
He says they were short on news reporters that day, so he just got thrown into the fire. And that reminds me of one time when we tried a similar experiment
at work
in our newsroom, the one I was working in at the time. And we decided, I'm going to say we, because I have no memory of who actually decided to do this, but it was great. Okay, so we decided to have one of the photographers be a reporter for the day. Now that I think about it, I wonder if this was the beginning of the one-man bands, you know, the
like the MMJ.
Yeah, the multimedia journalist. So you'd have one person
does
everything.
Yeah.
The video work, the editing, the reporting.
Yep.
Woo!
That sounds like a terrible idea, though, just to take somebody who's been behind the camera and just be like, here you go, buddy.
I wanted to learn really badly when I was reporting. I wanted to learn how to use the video camera and the editing work. And someone told me not to do that because then they would make me do it all the time.
You'd be an MMJ.
They said, you're not going to get paid for it. They're going to give you the same salary for doing your one job, but they're going to make you do three. So be careful what you do. So I never learned. Anyway, again, I don't know whose decision this was to make this photographer a reporter for the day, but it happened and it was funny. We threw the poor guy on camera that day. He looked like a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
I can still picture it. in my brain. And I think we were all watching it from the newsroom because you know how you have the monitors in the newsroom so you could see
Oh, yeah.
what's happening, live.
Most of the time, a newsroom looks kind of like a space shuttle, the way I see it. Like, you have your desks around a certain area, and then you have like literal just TV screens all over the place.
I don't know if I've ever been in a more quieter newsroom that day. We were just all watching, also deers in headlight looks. And our jaws dropped wide open, and we couldn't believe this poor guy.
Aww.
Yeah, I know, it was terrible for him. I think he was a little traumatized. Anyway, we didn't do that again.
Yeah.
But can you imagine if your entire job has been working behind the camera and then one day they just throw you in front of it and make you tell a story?
Yeah, that would be a lot.
I mean, even right now, if you just stuck a camera in front of me while we were recording this, I would probably do the same thing.
I was going to say, I feel like you would get really nervous.
Yeah. It's weird, right?
And I'm like, and you're the one who should never get nervous about this.
Right. It's weird. You hadn't been doing it for a while. You have to take a minute, like, to ease into it.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just, like, do it in a few seconds.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, let's get back to Jessup because I want to get into the nitty gritty details.
Let's go.
This. So Jessup says he rolled up to the scene. There was a driver of a little black car, and this guy's name was Jet McBride.
What a name.
Right? I feel like that's I don't know.
It's like that car. What's that kid car movie with the cars?
It's the Cars.
It's called
Cars. The car movie for kids called Cars.
Don't they have names like that?
They do. Okay, Tina.
I don't know what's wrong with my brain. Okay, keep going.
I love it though. So apparently Jet McBride, he plowed, Jessup says, into a PG&E utility truck because the driver of the truck was black. And the worker was pinned between the car and the truck, and innocent bystanders came to the rescue of this guy who was pinned. And apparently, Jessup says, while this is going on, Jet McBride, the driver of the little car, started screaming things like he's Jesus Christ, all black people, something needs to happen bad to him is what he had said, and other just horrible racist things. And a woman at the scene ran to the vehicle to make sure that Jet McBride was okay. We're told that Jet McBride was this massive dude, right? He's 6'4", 300 pounds. And Jessup says that the driver turned to the woman who was trying to help him and started attacking her and literally started choking her. The woman told Jessup that a passenger who looked kind of like a hitchhiker or homeless dude comes and he attacks the driver to try to save her. So this homeless guy, Jessup is being told, saved this woman from being choked by this massive 6'4", 300 pound Jet McBride guy. This is just crazy. When Jessup gets to the scene, he says that he sees a homeless looking guy, potentially like a hitchhiker looking dude, walking away from the scene. And so he asks him for an on-camera video. And that's when we enter the internet phenom known as Kai, the hitchhiking Hatchet Hero.
Oh boy, say that one. Hitchhiking Hatchet Hero.
Seriously.
Do we know what happened to the guy who was pinned between the car and the pole?
Oh, he ended up being okay.
Okay. Just needed to know that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I guess I should have. I was so into the whole like hitchhikery Kai. I was okay eventually. Yes.
Okay, good. Jessup says, Kai, the hitchhiking Hatchet Hero. Kai could have had anything he wanted. Money, fame. He went from hero to wanted for murder in just 3 months. While Jessup is talking to the camera in this show, he's getting a phone call from Kai, who's calling from the New Jersey State Prison. And we don't hear the call right away because they go into the story. But Jessup looks stressed about taking that call.
He does. Kai's real name is Caleb Lawrence McGilvery, but we're just going to call him Kai. So Kai is interviewed by Jessup. What he says on camera, I'm going to try to say this kind of the way Kai said this.
Oh boy.
Pretend that I'm Kai currently. I went straight out of Dogtown, skateboarding and surfing it up. That's how he sounds. Jessup says that Kai turned to the camera and looked right in the camera And you know, when you get somebody who you interview somebody and they do this and they just look dead into the camera and they get that like lovey look. And you know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's never happened to me, but I know what you're talking about when we saw him do that.
He broke that fourth wall. And by breaking the fourth wall in TV, we mean like you're straight addressing the audience. Like you look straight into the camera and you address the audience. And so Kai says when he's breaking this fourth wall, looking straight at the camera, he goes, "Before I say anything else, no matter what you've done, you deserve respect. Even if you make mistakes, you're lovable. And it doesn't matter your looks, skills, age, your size, anything. You're worthwhile. No one can ever take that away from you." That's powerful stuff right there.
He looks quite innocent and sweet when he's giving this message to the camera, and Jessup is moved by it, as am I.
Kai tells Jessup, "I look over and the guy's pinned there. Buddy gets out and these two women are trying to help him. He runs up and he grabs one of the men. Like a guy that big can snap a woman's neck like a pencil. So I beeped, ran up with a hatchet and smash, smash, smash. Yeah." That's what he says. Did I sound like Kai?
Yeah, that is definitely a viral quote if I've ever heard one. Smash, smash, smash.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
When he says smash, 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 is he talking about smashing the guy in the head with the hatchet?
Yeah.
So he's smashed the guy in the head with a hatchet. What happened to the hatchet?
The police took it.
Okay, so he didn't get to carry it around after it was all bloody and stuff.
No, the police took it, and this will come into play later when we find out something that Kai actually did while he was smash, smash, smash. Yeah. At some point in this show, Kai's like, "I need a new hatchet, man." Like,
oh my gosh, I missed that.
Like he no longer has his hatchet. So Kai goes on to tell Jessup and the news camera that the woman was in danger. And he, meaning the driver, just finished what looked like killing somebody. And if I hadn't done that, he would have killed more people.
The woman who's interviewing Jessup for the show that we're watching asks him behind the camera, "Did it strike you as odd that he had a hatchet?" And Jessup says, "Not really, because he figures a hatchet might be a good thing to have for a transient." And I'm not sure I agree with him, though.
I agree.
100%.
You do? I 100%. I mean, what's he supposed to be carrying around? A machete?
No, but like a pocket knife,
That's
maybe.
not going to do much.
A hatchet I feel is such an odd thing to carry around. It's heavy.
It's not heavy.
Big. A hatchet's not heavy?
No, they're like the size of a paper.
Do you have a hatchet here?
Yes.
Why? Do you always have the most random things?
Because you need things, Tina.
What do you need a hatchet for?
We used it before when we went camping to like chop little sticks.
Chop sticks? To chop wood or to chop sticks?
Well, I'm not talking about one of those giant axe wielding things, like a little hatchet. Plus, if you're ever desperate, like out in the woods, you can use it to light a fire. I don't know how to do that, but apparently it's a thing.
Okay.
I mean, what would you rather have him carrying around, Tina? A pocket knife? What's that going to do?
It's easier in my mind to carry around a pocket knife in your pocket than it is to be carrying around a hatchet in your backpack.
Well, what if he just loops it through his jean thing?
Again,
Little
I just feel like that's such a weird, like walking around with a hatchet in your belt loop.
I think that makes you look like a badass.
I feel like that makes you look like a psychopath. We are on very two different wavelengths.
We are on different wavelengths, Tina.
Okay.
So Kai says that people say don't hitchhike, but he says at least he was there hitchhiking because he saved this woman's life. I agree, Kai. Thank you for being there hitchhiking.
Okay. They played the clip of Jessup interviewing Kai at the scene, and Jessup asked the same question every reporter asks the person that they're interviewing. Say your name and spell it. Kai says,
"Straight out of Dogtown, K-A-I.
Straight out of Dogtown, K-A-I. What is straight out of Dogtown? It's the second time we've heard him say that.
I know. I went down the Dogtown rabbit hole last night because I was super curious. Apparently, Dogtown is what Venice Beach was known at way back in the day, because before Venice Beach became what it is today, this like happening place with palm trees and surfers and like all that kind of stuff. Back then, Dogtown was kind of, so Venice Beach was kind of run down, kind of like grimy a little bit, is kind of what I found
Were
out.
there like stray dogs walking around?
No, like it was like homeless people. Like it wasn't this hip place that it is now, but it was known for its surfers, for their skateboarders, and it became this like skateboarding culture in Venice Beach. And they even made movies about it. Like The Lords of Dogtown came out. I don't know when it came out, but there's been movies about it. It's just like surfing, skateboarding culture.
So surfing,
That's Dogtown.
Okay, so surfing, skateboarding culture is Dogtown.
In Venice Beach.
In Venice Beach,
back in the
particular. Day. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I clear that up?
I think you did, but Kai knows stuff.
I know stuff.
I mean, he knew that was Dogtown. If it's not Dogtown anymore, was it Dogtown back here in 2013 or whatever?
I think it's just something that if you're in that group of people, like that group who loves skateboarding, loves surfing, kind of chill, it's still known to you as Dogtown.
Okay. So Jessup asks if he has a last name, and Kai says, "No, bro, I don't have anything." Well, you had a hatchet.
So thankfully, none of the injuries sustained in the accident were life-threatening. And Mr. Jet McBride, who was the guy driving the little car that caused this entire accident, was arrested. Jessup and his photog uploaded the interview of Kai on YouTube, and Kai went absolutely viral. On the show, we hear that by the next morning, it had over 500,000 views. And the memes about this guy just exploded.
I mean, how could they not?
He was all over the internet. Even Stephen Colbert, is it Colbert?
I think so.
Did a skit on this guy.
Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to hop on the Kai train now. They think he's going places, and that means making money.
Cha-ching.
And everyone wants in on that.
We hear from somebody named Brad, who is a human interest researcher for Jimmy Kimmel Live at the time. And he says his job was to find interesting stories or clips for Jimmy Kimmel. The first time that he apparently saw Kai's video, he said it was intoxicating, and he knew that he needed to get Kai on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and fast. We also hear from somebody named Lisa, who's a reality TV brand manager. And one of the things she's most known for is Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which I feel like if that's on your resume, like kudos to you. She says that when she saw Kai, he was mesmerizing, and it was a different type of story than you normally hear on TV, because he's a homeless guy who's a hero, and he's an unusual hero. And she said that Kai apparently had that it factor. Everyone starts looking for Kai, but there's only one person who knows where he is, and that's Jessup. Apparently, Kai gave Jessup an email address, and so the whole world is contacting Jessup at this point because everybody wants an interview with Kai.
Yeah.
And nobody can get a hold of him because he's left Fresno, and now he's apparently in Stockton.
Jessup says he wants to be the first one to tell Kai's story. People are emailing him and trying to get in touch with Kai. And he tells Kai that there are these people trying to make him rich and famous. And he wants to be the first one to tell his story before they do. And he also wants to be able to tell him about all these opportunities available to him. And I wrote, I don't know how I feel about this. Something irks me about it. It kind of reminds me of the Long Island serial killer story, where the families of the women there who disappeared were saying that the media just wants a story.
Yeah.
They don't really care about them. And I feel like this has a similar feeling to it. He just wants to be the first one with the story.
Yeah, I can hear what you're saying. I also understand Jessup's side of it, though, because you have something so huge and you kind of want to pursue that.
Yeah, but it's not about you, you know?
So we hear from a guy named Alex, who is a photog who went with Jessup to find Kai and meet up with him in Stockton. And Alex says that when he saw Kai, he knew that he was an absolute like loose cannon. He had some crazy energy, and he didn't know what Kai was going to be doing next, which I feel like in TV, you encounter those people a lot, that like kind of person. And you do kind of wonder, like, hey, what's going to really happen next?
I mean, I've encountered those people just in my regular everyday life, just recently, actually. And I was in their home, and the first thing I did was get out ASAP.
I feel like there's a story there.
I'll tell you later.
So Jessup says that Kai would apparently fill a shopping cart at a store, steal it, and then turn around and give it to homeless people that needed it. And it's one of these things, I feel like it's this conundrum. One, you know it's wrong, but then he turns around and does it for good to help people. It's
kind of like a real life Robin Hood. That's
Yeah.
what I wrote. Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. During this interview between Jessup and Kai, they needed B-roll, which is kind of in the TV world, video of this person doing something.
Just to help with your story.
So Kai took Jessup and the photog to a music store and started playing guitar, and he plays this like punk style music, and honestly, it was a really good song that he wrote. He's a great performer, and in the video that we saw, like, he's a talented guy.
I am floored when he starts doing this. He can play guitar, he can actually sing, he's Robin Hood.
He whacks people with hatchets to save lives.
Well, he seems like a sweet, genuine guy who's just down on his luck. And I can see why people want to make him rich and famous. They think that this kid deserves some good of his own.
So the executives behind the Keeping Up with the Kardashians wanted to give Kai his own TV show. And they knew that he could make millions, we're told on the show, and be an overnight superstar. But Jessup is telling him about this when he's meeting him up in Stockton. And Kai says he just wants to go to the Bay Area and smoke some weed. Don't we all?
Oh my God, that's great.
So Lisa on the show says that she told Jessup to tell Kai that she would send him a limo full of weed if he wants to get high. And apparently he goes, okay.
I said, how does one counter with a limo full of weed? Where do you get that much weed? How much weed is in a limo full of weed? We don't actually get to see the supposed limo full of weed, and I'm really disappointed about this, to be honest.
Yeah, I want to see the limo full of weed.
I was waiting for it. Let me see.
So at this point, we hear on the show that Lisa and a guy named JR drive up to Santa Rosa, California. Apparently, at this point, Kai has hitchhiked from Stockton to Santa Rosa. They couldn't fly or take him on the train because apparently Kai has no ID card. And I mean, he's got nothing. He's missing his hatchet. He's got no last name.
Nope.
So they get Kai apparently into the car and had Kai sign a contract right away. Like, they wanted this guy to commit. Like, that's it. You're in the car. You're going to do the show with us. And JR says that Kai signed it in hieroglyphics. Like, I wish I could write my name in hieroglyphics.
Was that footage that we saw of the hieroglyphic contract real, or did someone do that?
I have no idea, but it was hilarious.
It was so funny. And I said, that's genius. Is it even valid if it's in hieroglyphics?
I don't think so. Not in the state of California, I bet.
Exactly. So he's like, you can easily just get out of it if you want to. And JR says that Kai smelled like alcohol and was clearly intoxicated. And it took him 10 minutes to sign his hieroglyphics name. Or as JR put it, a cave drawing. Can you imagine you're watching this guy make a drawing on your contract for 10 minutes? I don't know why. I just think that's so funny. Tina,
you look like you're about to cry.
So the idea for the reality show, in case anyone is wondering, according to Lisa, is it's going to be a show about homeless people living happily on the streets. And Jessup says something interesting here. He says that he warns Lisa that hanging out with Kai is not all unicorns and rainbows.
It's not just that limo full of weed.
Nope. He says it's exhausting and it's hard. I find that so interesting. What a strange combination of being sweet and heroic, but also exhausting and difficult.
I feel like that's how some people describe me.
Oh no, I don't think so at all. You do not exhaust me. There is definitely some personalities where I feel drained.
Yeah.
But if I felt that way, I'm out the door.
You'd be like, see ya.
I feel energized. I do not feel exhausted or
You
drained.
feel energized about
I mean, don't I show it?
me? That's true. So after Kai signs his hieroglyphics name, they are on the way to LA. And Brad with Jimmy Kimmel Live stands with Kai on Hollywood Boulevard. So they get to LA and Kai is kind of booted out of the car and he's standing on the Hollywood Walk of Fame with Brad from the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. At that point, we hear on the show that Kai pulled down his pants and peed on Julio Iglesias' star on the Walk of Fame in front of the Roosevelt Hotel. Loose cannon for sure.
I said, what the heck did Julio Iglesias do to him?
That's Enrique's dad, right?
Yeah. What did he do? Also, Brad says this hotel is a pretty big deal. It's where Marilyn Monroe lived, and it's where they used to hold the Oscars.
It's the hotel that you see whenever you see like a postcard. I don't know if postcards are still a thing. I used to love a postcard.
Oh no, they are
of like LA.
Every time my husband and I go on vacation, we send postcards to our parents.
Look at you.
It's a fun, sweet thing to do, I think.
I love postcards, but it's the Roosevelt Hotel is one of those that you always see pictures of. It's like the iconic one with like the red lettering up top on the side of the building that says Roosevelt Hotel. They got Kai into their hotel room, and apparently the show says that Kai was super happy to see a minibar. And he starts drinking the alcohol straight out of the bottle. And at this point, it's not just the little ones either.
Regular sized bottles, not the little mini ones that you see on the airplane. And he's gulping down Jack Daniels like a lunatic, Lisa said.
Then they go downstairs to the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. And in my mind, I'm just picturing this with like, it's a swanky lobby and you have like people all around. You have a bellman. Like
I'm picturing Pretty Women lobby. You know the Pretty Woman lobby?
I have not watched that movie in probably like 20
What was
years.
that? The Beverly Hills Hotel? I think is what
it's all swanky.
Yeah.
What does Kai do? So he peed on Julio Iglesias' star. Now he busts out his skateboard and starts skateboarding around the hotel lobby. And at this point, the security was just like, nope, this dude's got to go. So they kick Kai out and he started running away and he pulled out of a knife and started trying to throw it into the ground. That's scary.
A huge knife, I'd like to add. Red flag. JR tells the production company that they don't want to do a reality show with this guy. And the production company isn't buying it. They don't think he can be that bad. And they still want to meet him.
So what does Lisa do? I feel like Lisa is a team player in all this because she lets Kai stay at her house. If I saw some guy trying to throw a knife toward the ground and pee randomly and like all this kind of stuff, he's not staying at my house.
No, Lisa.
She's super polite, apparently.
Yes.
But she says she felt that there was something dangerous about him.
But yet she still allowed him to stay there. She said that she felt like it was her responsibility to make sure that he gets to the Kimmel show, which is why she had him stay at her house. I would never do that. Not with someone acting so erratic, because you don't know what they're going to do next.
So we fast forward to February 11th of 2013. Now, this is 10 days after Kai went viral.
This is crazy that you just said that.
Smash. Yeah.
10 days.
10 days. Kai gets to the Jimmy Kimmel Live show, and Kai gets out of the car, and he pees. He likes to pee on the Jimmy Kimmel Live sign.
Someone snapped a picture of it and they show it on the screen.
Remember, if you want to watch this yourself, the hatchet-wielding Hitchhiker is on Netflix.
Oh, man.
What Kai does next is he goes inside and Jimmy Kimmel hands Kai an envelope with $500 inside. Kai takes it and he gives it to the security guard and says, sorry for peeing on the sign. Again, I feel like this is such a like mind back and forth.
Is he nice? Is he crazy?
Yeah. That day, Kai went on air live with Jimmy Kimmel. We watched some of this show, this snippet with Kai on the show, the hatchet wielding hitchhiker, and it was very bizarre. He started talking about some strange things, but Kimmel was super good about controlling the conversation. And so, like, Kai would say something really random and Jimmy Kimmel will kind of take it and like bounce it off of like himself to make like a self-deprecating joke, and then it would roll and it flowed. And at the end of this, Kai was given a surfboard and a wetsuit and he looked smitten, like he was on top of the world at this point. The show asked Kai back to do some movie reviews. They said the next day they saw a completely different side of Kai. He wasn't able to concentrate, couldn't focus on the movies, and he couldn't even make it through the movie trailer. That was less than 3 minutes long.
Same. I have so much trouble concentrating on movies. Like, to finish an entire movie in one sitting for me is so difficult.
Really?
Yeah. I prefer a show.
After Kimmel, Kai went back up north, we hear on the show, and he got a neck and face tattoo.
We also saw that 90 minutes before the Kimmel show, the police showed up and took Kai. They tracked him down via social media, but they bring him back in time about 30 minutes before his Kimmel interview. And Jen, tell us about why the police came for Kai.
3 weeks after going viral, we hear from a guy with the Fresno homicide squad named Jeff Stryker, and he says that Kai was a key witness for the trial for the accident, right? Against this Jet McBride character who had plowed into the worker and the utility truck.
Who was okay, by the way.
Kai, we're told, had all the key information needed to get a conviction since he was in the car with Jet McBride when it happened.
Whoa. Kai was in the car?
Yeah.
When this happened?
Yeah.
I missed that.
So
I thought Kai was a bystander just watching.
So listen, we in the show didn't find out that he was in the car until this point.
Oh, I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So Tanya Baker was the woman who Kai supposedly saved from Jet McBride. Tanya testified in court that McBride attacked her while she tried to help the PG&E worker who was pinned between the car and the service truck. She says Kai stepped in and hit McBride with his hatchet 3 times. We know that. Kai took the stand, and Officer Stryker says that Kai testified to rolling a joint with McBride, which he said he did. McBride said he and Kai had talked about both of them being ghosts after getting high, and Kai said while they were in the car together, I bet we can drive right through that truck right now and nobody would ever see it. So Stryker says that Kai had been made out to be a hero in all this, but he also wasn't totally clean in it all either, because he had been in the car with McBride when the accident happened.
Yep. So the original story Kai told was that he just saw a woman being attacked by a man, and so he attacked that man with his hatchet. And it turns out that was only a partial story.
Mm-hmm. Kai testified that McBride had told him before the accident he had done something really bad to a 14-year-old girl. And Kai said that McBride turned on several people after the crash, including Tanya Baker, the woman who was going to try to help McBride after the accident. Stryker says at first Kai was using the back of the hatchet, so 1-2 whacks with the dull side. But before the third whack, he flipped the hatchet around to the sharp side and whacked him
a third time
with the bladed part of the hatchet.
We see a picture of McBride's injuries, and they are intense.
They're gnarly looking.
Woo,
like my surfer lingo there, straight out of Dogtown.
Love it. One of his fingers looks mangled. I guess that was like him protecting his head when he was being smashed. Oh, that was hard to see.
Yeah, that makes me like, when you get that ooh feeling?
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently, we learn on this show that this wasn't the first time Kai had been violent either. Jessup says that on the day of the hatchet attack, Kai told him on camera that he once saw a man beating a woman in an orchard. So he started beating the man in the head, and the man's teeth left indents in Kai's hands. And truthfully, on this show, the way we're told this story, it sounds almost as if Kai had been like proud of it.
Yeah. And also, what is the full story there?
Mm-hmm.
We know he didn't tell the full story the first time when he told us about the hatchet. So I'm sure he is leaving parts out when he's talking about the orchard beating.
Yep. And so I think this is when we enter somebody named Gabriel Francisco. He's a lead singer of a band called the Redcoats. And apparently they did a concert in Fresno with Kai. Because remember, at this point, Kai is this internet sensation. He has fans, like people want to hang out with Kai. And so Kai has this true following behind him. And so Gabriel says that the band thought it'd be a good idea to do some kind of set or a show with Kai, because if Kai brings his followers, maybe they'll become fans of the Redcoats, the band. Gabriel on the show says that when he met Kai, Kai was bragging about the hatchet smashing and said that Kai had laced a joint and started laughing about it. And Gabriel said it best. Kai was confused that he drugged this guy. It's like starting a fire and putting the fire out and being called a hero. Like it's just all over the place. Red flags.
That's exactly what it is. Gabriel also says, talking to Kai, he noticed a switch. He would say really positive things, but then he would say something violent. Then he'd go back to something positive. And to me, that sounds like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde-ish.
100% right, Tina. And Gabriel says he was super shaken up, didn't want to be around Kai, and that after this, he just kind of didn't want anything to do with him anymore after the show.
He says living the way Kai lived, living carefree, no sense of the law, it gave him a sense of also no consequences. They show a clip of someone interviewing Kai, and he says something pretty disturbing. He says there are 4 types of love. There's putting up with someone, there's liking somebody, there's romantically liking somebody, and then there's being willing to kill somebody else for somebody, which is what he calls sacrificial love. And I wrote WTF.
Red flag.
Red flag. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Those are not the love languages.
No.
Fast forward to Friday, May 10th of 2013 in New York. Kai apparently made it to New York and posted some super disturbing messages on Facebook, which he called his Mother's Day message. I'm going to read you the message. We see it popped up on the screen. It said, first memories, okay, so the wording is a little off, so forewarning about that. First memories, I was in a crib and family was fussing over me, but I kept getting told that I had a demon. I would get locked in a room for 20 hours a day with a little porta potty camp toilet in the corner of the room. Then after that, my mouth filled with hot pepper and soap for yelling, beep, you, at the top of my lungs. Happy Mother's Day.
Whoa.
Jessup on the show says that when he met with Kai in Sacramento for the second interview, Kai had told him some super disturbing things also at that point. Jessup said that Kai had told him on camera that when he was 17 years old and on the road, there was a guy who had held him down and sexually assaulted him and then started choking him. Kai told Jessup that he looked at this guy while it was happening, got up and fought for himself and ran. And we have no idea what happened to the other guy. Kai told Jessup on camera that when he was also little, he was locked in a cage and treated like an animal, which at this point, like, it's unknowable if any of these things were actually true. So we hear from somebody named Jeremy, who is Kai's first cousin. He says he grew up with Kai and his name is actually Caleb. He says he felt bad that Kai told people he didn't have a family. Jeremy says Kai's parents split up when he was little and he was a super mischievous kid and wasn't allowed to go outside and play. Jeremy goes on to say that Kai's mom locked him in a room for some time. But that he also tried to start fires in the house, went into foster home system for kids with like a rough background when he was 13. He says that Kai would get angry pretty fast and would snap pretty quickly, and that the family believed he had some kind of like mental issue. There was a lot happening in Kai's childhood.
Mm-hmm. I wrote, this is terrible. So the stories we heard Kai tell earlier about being locked in a room, I was at first finding hard to believe. And it's hard to believe when we already know that he doesn't tell the full truth when he tells stories. However, here we have his cousin backing him up.
Yeah.
Saying that he was locked in a room for quite a while, and a dark room, he mentions at that. Someone earlier also said that they don't know if they believed everything Kai said was 100% true, but even if what he said was only 50% true, that Kai had to have had a bad childhood. And I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
Kai's cousin also says Kai would easily get angry because he didn't know if you were laughing with him or at him. And if he thought someone was making fun of him, he would just go into these rages and then snap out of them. And that's sad, but also very scary. Kai's cousin also said something else interesting. He says, Kai seems well, but when put under pressure, you either become a diamond or you get crushed. And he says Kai gets crushed.
We hear on the show from somebody named Shirley, who is identified as Kai's mom. And she said that she never locked him in a room. She says, I'm going to quote here. She says, for a short period of time, she had to stop the ability of him getting out of a room too early because he was a free spirit and would get up earlier than she did and get into stuff that could harm him. And in my opinion, that's locking someone in a room. You're not letting them out.
Yes, I agree.
Shirley goes on to say on the show that the medical field could not provide one diagnosis for Kai. She says that she is concerned about Kai because he's a trusting person. He always led with his heart and is just very trusting. And so she worried about Kai. Well, it's nice that she's worried about him, but
yeah,
you know what I mean? So we fast forward to May 13th, 2013 in Clark, New Jersey. And this is 3 months after Kai went viral.
3 months. It feels to me like it's been 3 years.
Fact.
There's so much that
There's
has happened.
so much to the show. So news coverage shows that 74-year-old well-known attorney named Joe was killed inside of his house, and police say that he had been beaten to death. Now, inside the house, we hear on the show that everything was super neat. There was no forced entry, meaning that more than likely Joe had invited his killer into the house. Apparently, in the family room, there's a laptop with a name and number on it of a Lawrence Kai. Well, so police start Googling the name, and right away they come up with the viral Kai video. We hear on the show that there was also a train ticket found in the house, and investigators went and checked that train station video where Joe had purchased the train ticket, and they see video of Joe buying the train ticket, and he gives it to someone off camera with long hair. It's kind of this long, fluffy type hair.
Mm-hmm. We get to see a picture of the paper with Kai's name and number, and we also see a photo of the train station ticket. And I wrote, this is some good old-fashioned detective work.
It really is.
And the way we see these clues that were almost left for someone to be found, like purposely by investigators, these were just small pieces of paper that could have easily been tossed in the trash. And I just find it fascinating that it just looks like a game of Clue.
It does.
You know?
It really does. Police, we're told, called the Fresno Police Department about Kai, and Fresno sent all the information they had on Kai to New Jersey. And a press release was released to the public about Kai, and they wanted to know where Kai was because he was wanted for murder. Jessup, at that point, reached out to Kai, and on May 14th of 2013, Kai posted on Facebook. I'm going to read the Facebook post, and again, it's written oddly, and I'm going to probably edit some words just because it is pretty graphic. Okay, it says, what would you do if you woke up with a groggy head, a certain taste in your mouth, in a stranger's house, walked to the mirror and saw something on your face coming from your mouth, and you started vomiting, realizing that someone had drugged you, done something else really bad to you?
What would you do?
What would you do? So I summarized that as best as I could because it is super, super graphic and really gross, to be honest.
And I can't believe again that it's only been 3 months since he's gone viral.
So we go to May 12th, 2013, which is Mother's Day. And Kai, we hear on the show, met up with a fan. And you remember, he has all these fans all over the place. Everybody wants pictures with Kai, with the hatchet wielding hero.
Mm-hmm.
And the fan takes some pictures, and Kai's hair has been cut. On May 16th of 2013, an employee inside of a Starbucks in Philadelphia recognized Kai and called police because word is getting out that he is a wanted fugitive. And he gets arrested at a bus station that same day.
He looks shockingly different in his arrest video. And here's where I noticed his face tattoo. It's definitely more visible now that his hair is shorter.
Yes. So in the police interrogation video that we see on the show, Kai said that he met up with the victim in Times Square. He met up with Joe. He said that Joe was a super nice guy, but that he sexually assaulted him. Kai says he woke up, saw some stuff that he said was evidence of the sexual assault, and that the victim, Joe, drove him to the train station and got him a ticket. Kai told police at this point he took the train to another city to meet a friend, but the friend never showed up. So he called Joe back to see if he could stay another night at Joe's house. Which, this to me is one of those things, like, if this truly happened to you, why are you calling this guy back?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Kai in the video says that they ate some burgers and had some beer, and he doesn't remember what happened next, and says that he woke up on the floor and the victim, Joe, was trying to pull down his pants. Kai says that he started fighting back with his hands and elbows and his knees. At this point in time, Kai told the police, I'm going to stop there. I need an attorney. And police say that the crime scene did not show any kind of self-defense. They say that a 74-year-old guy had been beaten to death. There were no defensive wounds on Kai. There was nothing, we're told on the show. And the medical examiner said the victim had been stomped on. He had some extensive injuries to his face and to his ear. And it was just a very violent attack.
Brutal. And this is very difficult to hear. While we're hearing the story, we're seeing the crime scene photos. That was also a lot to see.
Yeah.
And I've used this word a lot in, I think, this episode, but it was intense.
It was super intense. Jessup at this point says that 2 weeks before Kai met the victim, he had posted on Facebook, and Kai had wrote on this Facebook page a Huffington Post article titled, "Is Vigilante Pedophile Hunting a Good Idea? You decide for you, I'll decide for me."
Okay, I was confused about this. I don't know the way. I know the way they say it makes it sound like Kai wrote the article.
He did not.
Okay, he did not write the article. He was reposting an article that had been written with that title.
Correct.
Someone else wrote it, and his comment on that repost was, "You decide for you, I'll decide for me."
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. At this point, Kai's arrested, and we hear on the show that Kai had printouts of known sexual predators. And at this point, this just makes you think, like, with the article that he had reposted with the "you decide, I'll decide for myself," was he trying to do some kind of like vigilante justice?
Like Dexter.
Ugh. Fast forward. At this point, we learn that Kai is found guilty of first-degree murder. And the show says a judge called Kai a white keg of explosive rage. He says that you created this image of a free spirit, but underneath that free spirit, the jury saw another side of him, and they saw a cold-blooded, calculated, callous killer. That is some strong wording.
Powerful. But I don't think Kai created a public image of a free spirit. I think the public created that image.
I agree.
Because that's what they wanted to see, and they ignored all the red flags.
It's one of those where it's like you see something online, you're like, you automatically assume like, oh, they're a great person, like they can do no wrong, when we've seen it plenty. that these people sometimes do really bad things.
Mm-hmm.
So we hear from Joe's neighbors, who I think say it the best. If you want to glorify someone these days, you need to know who you're glorifying. And that, in my opinion, hits super hard. And I think that's also something that nowadays in our culture, you really need to think about.
Truth. That's what I wrote.
It's the absolute truth. Chet McBride, the driver where all of this basically started, was found guilty of assault with a deadly weapon. And the deadly weapon at this point was the car. And he was sentenced to 9 years in a mental health facility. We learned that toxicology tests showed that there was only marijuana in his system. And we also hear that Kai is in prison. He's serving 57 years in a maximum security prison in Jersey. I looked into it a little bit, and apparently in 2001, Kai appealed against his conviction, and that was rejected. And apparently he will be in prison until he's scheduled to be released in 2061. That's a long time.
Woo!
I feel like we went from like, haha, like way to go, to ooh, that's a lot. 3 months. If you think about all the stuff that he could have done, this could have taken a completely different road.
I feel like people saw a money train and they didn't address the root of a problem that there were some red flags around.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I feel like if you would have addressed those issues, that would have probably been more helpful than just trying to make this guy rich and famous. Get him some help.
Yeah, get him some help. Get him a last name. Get him an ID card.
Mm-hmm.
Well, please, we want to hear from you. I want to know what you guys thought of this episode. Also, go check out the Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker on Netflix. It's a good show.
Yeah, if you have anything that you've seen lately that you found interesting, you need to talk to someone about it, or you want someone to talk about it, send us an email at twocrimenewsies@gmail.com. You can comment on our Two Crime Newsies Facebook page,
Instagram.
on our Instagram page. And if you enjoyed our story today, if we made you laugh a little, if we made your day, give us 5 stars.
It really helps us out. Also, give us a download. We appreciate those downloads. All right, my friend, it's another week down. We will talk to you guys later. Bye.